Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Haazinu. In a 2010 article, the Salt Lake City Deseret News reported that, statistically, there is a near-perfect relationship between the poverty level of the student population at a high school and its tendency to lose students before graduation day. Higher percentages of poverty translate into the lower test scores and more behavioral problems. According to a recent University of Utah study, the difference in test scores between rich and poor kids in Utah is greater even than the well-publicized disparity between Caucasian and ethnic minority students. It is indisputable that education advances people, both young and old. In this Dvar Torah, I'll show how the greatest help one person can give another is the gift of education. I'll show how two variant texts in the Rambam's version of the blessings on the Torah teaches that God's greatest kindness to us was his gift of the Torah. I hope that in making the point about the great gift of Torah, we can explain one of the many confusing verses in our Sedra. I hope that this Dvar Torah inspires the viewer to recognize the power of education. Every morning we recite 3 brachot before we study Torah. The second of those brachot states, "Please, God, make the words of your Torah pleasant in our mouths, and the mouths of your people, the entire house of Israel. May we, our offspring, and the offspring of your people be knowers of your name, and among those who occupy themselves with your Torah. God, you are the source of all blessing, who teaches Torah to his people Israel." Another version of that same text changes the last few words to read, "God, you are the source of all blessing, who gave the Torah," as opposed to "who teaches his people Israel." While both very different, both versions of the text highlight God as the one who bestowed the Torah to the Jewish people. The first version shows God to be the teacher of Israel, while the second shows God as a giver, leaving us to understand the Torah with our own faculties. Whichever version we accept, we understand God as the one from whom we received the Torah. Although a familiar phrase, the Chinese proverb, "Give a man a fish and he will eat for a day, teach a man to fish and he will eat for the rest of his life," always brings a smile in its simplicity and its intelligence. The greatest gift the poor can receive is knowledge. Greater knowledge is the key to man's advancement, as it allows man to better himself by himself. Man can always reach further and achieve more when they advance on their own. Our Sedra states, "He found them in a desert land, and in a desolate howling wasteland. He encompassed them and bestowed understanding upon them. He protected them as the pupil of his eye." Rashi explains that bestowing understanding means God bestowed upon them the Torah. Applying our understanding of God as the giver of the Torah, that the greatest gift man can receive being knowledge, the praise we give God as the bestower of understanding, makes perfect sense. Shabbat Shalom.